this point in my pregnancy, I am rotund. I am coming up on 36 weeks pregnant and I'm good. This was literally the easiest pregnancy I had ever had. But if you know anything about pregnancies, weird dreams are a thing. But this particular dream was like weird and awing at the same time. So I've been having weird dreams all throughout this pregnancy, except for this one. A few days before I gave birth to our third child at 36 weeks, I had a dream where I believe I felt the Holy Spirit say to me, accept the pace. That phrase was so on time because maybe a week or two later, we were immediately ushered in to family life with 3 kids. Since then, when things feel like chaotic or I feel scattered, I try to bring myself right back to that exact moment because I have spent too much of my adulthood wrestling with people's expectations of me versus what I might really want, and not really exercising the trust I should have in the belief that God has authority over all things. Colossians 1:17 says that He existed before anything else, and He holds all creation together. In school, I was the studious rule follower. I was the one that was going to grow up and achieve all the great things. I grew up in a religious community where those were kind of just those expectations. You were going to follow Jesus, keep it pure, and you were also going to achieve all of the things in the world. I was in for a big change a few years into college when I had a baby, though. That same religious community began to look at me in a different way. Those expectations that they had for me turned and then started reeking of disappointment and judgment. Even still, 5 to 6 years later, I could not shake the concern of what people would think of me. And I feel like that sent me into a season of like untethered ambition and pride. Who could I hurry up and be so that people would know I was worth something? So I put myself in the pressure cooker with like this weird sort of pride, and that really drove me into this work to prove. I really believe that God in His mercy was really trying to address my pride. And I know that kind of seems weird, right? But I really was like driving myself and pushing and rushing myself to get to this very unclear destination of arrival of worth, and it really sunk me into sadness and depressive moods and doubt. And for so long, I had tried to craft a plan to success. To be honest, looking back, I don't even know what I was planning for. I think my ultimate goal was just to make sure that when people looked at me, they saw success and they knew that girl was worth something. And even with my attention in the wrong place, God still had grace for me at the wrong pace. Did I mean to rhyme? No, but talent, so much grace that I really do believe that in that dream, when I heard very clearly, accept the pace, I knew this is the Holy Spirit, and the Lord has been working me up to this point so that my mind was ready for it. My heart was ready to receive it. Like, hey, you're about to have 3 kids. There is no rushing. There is no plan that you can craft that's going to get you from here to there. You must go through the process, and you have to go through it at a pace in which you have the stamina for it. Now, what I wish I would have started practicing more back then was like truly submitting and seeking God's will for my life, and really understanding the yes I made when I said yes to Jesus. Hey, okay, you're gonna lay down on the wet grass. I don't think you'll like that very much. Okay, how about you turn this way and then you put your head like that, okay?
Okay.
Okay. Because the real hack in all of this is surrender and acceptance. When you surrender, you're saying yes to Jesus, and because of the surrender, you are accepting what He has planned for you, what God has in His will for you. It really makes embracing change a whole lot better, because change is coming, and I know we have all heard this like over and over again, but change is inevitable. I told you would not like the grass. Embracing change through God's lens is hard, but it's also so freeing, because you really just start to understand, like, I'm not in control. I'm submitting all of the control to the only being that has control anyway, and I'm going to make sure that I am just keeping at the pace that I'm supposed to be at. Now, I know it's easier said than done, and I really had to allow. Yes.
Do I quesadilla?
We just ate waffles.
Yes. Pancakes?
I don't have pancakes. Why? Thank you so much. And I know it's easier said than done, because I really had to pray long and hard about the Lord to renew and remove all of my misplaced thoughts and values on what success actually is. So, but we're about to get up. Do you want jelly on your waffle?
Yeah.
Okay, can you put your, no.
Mommy!
Yes. So I eventually started to change, and my mind and my heart started to change, and I began to see that I was striving for what would give me worth and not God's actual will for my life. And honestly, experiencing that change and looking back and seeing where I was a few years ago versus now is a complete 180. Really makes me emotional, because I'm like, wow, who was that girl? And I still struggle sometimes, because I do actually care what people think, but I try to remind myself that God's pace and His plan is better than anything I can imagine, because Ephesians 3:20, you know what I'm saying? I try to be in constant reminder with myself about all that the Lord has done, because there are so many times where God has shown me over and over again that He is purposeful and intentional, and I have just done whatever the heck I thought I wanted to do, okay? Hot trash. Do you hear me? Hot trash. So when I see that things are going like a completely different direction than I thought, I immediately try to embrace that change, because I'm honestly just tired of doing my own thing and thinking that I got it covered, because I don't. And I'm tired of just not consulting the Lord about all of my life decisions. Big or small, it's Jesus for me. Now, I still have goals and desires and such, but my desire for God's will in my life has grown to be much deeper and much stronger than my desire to do whatever I want to do. And let's just acknowledge that sometimes God's pace can almost feel like punishment, like, oh my gosh, we must be going this slow because I messed up a whole bunch of times before, or I thought I knew what I wanted to do. Let me tell you, whatever His reason, it is on purpose and it is intentional, and it will be for your good. Because where I am now, if I had achieved what I wanted to achieve 5 years ago, 2 years ago, I would not have the heart that I have right now. And God knows, like, the heart things take time. You can change your mind, but change of heart takes time. And I would not be here if He didn't have enough patience to be like, you know what? Let's just work on this thing right here. Let's just get your heart where it needs to be, so that when we move on and when we achieve different things, you'll have the right heart posture for this.